Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this world of utter and complete darkness. Tonight we return to Orlando Ascended. We have a lot planned for tonight. We have a new mage getting introduced, we have mages doing some investigation work, and we have questions that will have to be answered. And of course, it's always fun to see if Mr. Wong will blow himself up again. But for now, we return down to Orlando Ascended, where I think at first we will start off with Miss Dahlia entering or going to a very interesting library that she was informed about. We'll take it away from there. Dahlia, you arrive at the City Sanctum Library, and of course it's in the places of interest. You can find the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very dark and very quiet. There's a park actually not too far from the library, and there's a lot of greenery and trees around, and it's a very dark and calm night. Uh,
I mean, consider that she can't see any of this,
yeah.
so
Well, if you, I don't know, you've got life spheres, you've got spheres, you can look at stuff. Um, I'm not going to handicap you that much. The
true. She does tend to walk
I mean,
around with, you know,
I mean, you got pretty,
all of her sphere sights
yeah,
up,
you
so
got
she
pretty much
can.
all the spheres you need to see, really, at this point.
Yeah, the only thing she doesn't have is correspondence, entropy, forces, and time.
Yep. So, all right. So yeah, you look around, and with the matter sphere and the life sphere, you can see most of this. Um,
She does still use her cane because
yes,
the last thing she needs is someone, realizing that she's not using it while she's blind.
indeed. And would you roll me a perception awareness, please?
Okay. Oh, great. This is a bad dice pool for her.
Well, she is blind, so
Well, awareness tends to lean more on
everything.
your mystical senses, really.
Yeah,
Okay, alertness is for, oh, hey,
fair
I
enough.
see that thing over there. Awareness is more like that creepy feeling that runs down your back when, something bad happens or
The
things
hairs on
like
the back of
that.
your neck rise on end.
Yes, precisely. Difficulty.
Uh, let's see here.
Standard.
This will be difficulty 7.
Okay, slightly higher than standard diff.
Mhm.
One success.
Okay.
Not great, but
Um, that is still a marginal success for this. So, um, as your senses expand out and you start to view the world as you view it, a small little prickling sensation appears on the back of your neck, and you can feel something watching you. Can't quite pin the location, but
she's going to glance around with all of her sights up.
okay. You glance around with all the sights, and you have entropy, correct?
No.
Oh, you don't have
That is
entropy,
like the
but you have
one of the
mind.
few she does not have. She has life, matter, mind, prime, and spirit.
Let's see here.
If it's alive, she knows it's there.
Well, roll me a willpower at difficulty. Looking at the chart, let's say 8 on this one.
Good thing she has a decent chunk of willpower.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit! I hit the wrong button.
Oh, no successes
No
because the dice
success.
hate me
No
today.
successes. You search out with your senses, and although you still have the feeling of being watched, you can't seem to spot anything. You look around, and let's see. You do have mind and life. You're getting the sense that something's out there, but you're not seeing it. It's difficult. It's you're looking at it. You're using all of your spheres, but you've still got this shaking feeling, instinct, that something is out there watching you. But for the life of you, you can't find it, even looking at it with all of these spheres.
She's gonna shake her head and head on into the library.
Alrighty. Now, one thing you do notice that as your spheres are all up, you do notice that there is a camera up at the top right of the door, and it is looking at you. And the moment you move into the door, like into the doorway area, it focuses on you. And it just kind of looks at you for a moment. And the doors, of course, are still locked. And after it looks at you for maybe about, 2 minutes, you hear a little click in the door.
At which point she'll open the door and head on in.
You proceed on into the library, and you enter the first reception area, and you notice that off to your right, there's a long, long hallway, painted white, typical, business office kind of look. And as you look off to the right, lights start to come on periodically, one after another. One in this area, one about maybe another 20 feet down, another about maybe another 20 feet down. Almost like a little light show guiding you off to the right.
Well, she can't see the lights, so...
Yeah, that's right, no forces. But you would see you would see some prime pop up with these ones. So you don't know that it's light, but you can see some prime bubbles, if you will, pop, 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 and start to pop down the hallway, which you can see with matter.
Yep, she's still got her cane, because, appearances.
Mm-hmm. Do you proceed on down the hallway?
She does a little tap, tap, tap from the cane.
All right, you do. And
Tapping on the floor as she goes.
And go ahead and roll me either, you can either roll me an intelligence or wits plus occult or lore magic, whichever you decide.
Definitely going intelligence, because that's higher. Would book learning specialty apply?
Yes, it would for this. Because I definitely assume you would have read this in a book.
Difficulty?
Difficulty standard 6.
Okay. And 10's double. Oh, it's okay. Come here. Come here. No 10s, but still 5 successes.
Very nice. You recognize this, if you had to, from what you've read, and from what the knowledge of sanctums that you've accomplished over the years, this indeed feels like you've just, when you walk down the hallway, it feels like you cross a threshold into a sanctum, and it might even be a pocket realm, perhaps. You're not entirely sure about that part, but you can tell that reality has been altered here, and that you are no longer in, per se, a standard mortal plane. And you can easily tell that this is going on. And since you do not have the sphere of correspondence, you're not entirely sure what's going on around you, but this hallway seems to kind of extend, and then extend. And then, just out of the blue, as you're walking, you see down the hallway as it stretches out for miles, and then it just shifts, and then you are looking at a pair of what look like just standard push-open library doors with little push handles.
Okay. She will go ahead and push the doors open.
You push the doors in, and as you enter this particular threshold, which you cross into another one, which you're easily able to discern, everything becomes lighter. Your focus becomes easier. Your harmony with your avatar becomes easier. Your overall, basically, essence, everything becomes just easier to do. Typically, mages can focus without a thought, and it becomes a simplistic action. However, when you step through here, it becomes what some would call third nature, rather than second nature. And you notice that your vision typically with the spheres is clearer in here. Things are ground, they are concrete, they are established.
It's okay.
And then you see this woman standing at one of the front desks, or behind one of the front desks.
Oof. So she's a child of Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
Her avatar is Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be interesting.
She looks at the doorway at you. You can hear and see her sniff the air. And she looks at you and steps back one step. And she's like, well, I certainly didn't expect you to come walking in here tonight. Welcome to the Servitude Library. How may I help you?
I was sent here by Xavier. Her cane kind of taps along the ground as she approaches.
Ah, a potential new member. It's as you get closer, go and roll me another perception. Instead of awareness this time, roll like you're actively noticing. Sorry.
Alertness is the one you're thinking.
Perception, alertness, and this will be standard difficulty.
She's not noticing shit. The dice really just don't like me today.
Mm-hmm. So you see her kind of she stands and straightens herself, and she has a big bright smile on, and she says, "Madeline Beckett, head librarian. And if you were sent by Xavier, then that means that you may wish to join up and use some of the library's information. I will need you to sign a little mage's contract, so to speak, or deal, and I can't remember the terminology for when two mages make a signed contract deal. But she stops a moment and gets some papers out. She says, do you have knowledge of your sphere of matter?
I think she does. Making sure.
Yeah, as long as you got
Yes.
as long as you got matter 1, you can read a stack of papers.
Yeah, she's got matter 3.
Oh, excellent. So she hands you a stack of papers, which appears to be kind of like a business contract, so to speak. And it seems to be the rules and regulations of the library.
She's gonna go ahead and use matter to transmute the words into Braille.
Excellent.
So that would be an Irritate 2. Or not Irritate 2, but matter 2.
Yep. Arete roll difficulty 3.
10.
Because this is a Sanctum 5.
3 successes, she kicks off the effect, and the words morph into Braille.
Easily.
To make.
Oh, fuck. Technical difficulties. Gotcha. Gotcha!
Recording isn't fucked.
No, the recording's fine.
Yeah, that it has the right window on. That's what I mean.
There we go.
God, I hate that little jump that Google Hangouts does, and I'll click like at the bottom to like close something, and then I'll click the little red, hang up, and I'm like, "Grr!" Oh, I hate it when it does that. Grr!
Oh, it doesn't do that. You did that.
All right, so we are back. Yes, you transmuted matter into Braille.
Yep.
You easily succeed because awesome. And it's basic.
Because the dice actually liked me this time.
It is basic rules for the library. Most of it is standard rules based around most things that most traditions and most sanctums will have. What it does say when you get down to one part in particular, this is where the interesting part comes in. You may talk about the library in the library. You may talk about joining the library or membership or outer details per se, and it goes into great detail about what outer details are. And all these things with other people that you trust. However, any information that you find in the library, like say you read a book about demons, or you picked up a book about, what happened on June 6, 1969 in Italy in this specific area, because there are books for that, then you can't talk about it outside. In other words, you can't talk about any information that you find in the library outside of the library saying it comes from the library. For example, if you found out that, the McDonald's recipe for, this burger was this, you could go out and then do that recipe. And then you could even go out and say, hey, the recipe for McDonald's is this. But you cannot go out and say, hey, I got the recipe for McDonald's from the library.
Yeah, she would probably use the Lydia excuse from Teen Wolf. I read it somewhere.
Yes, that you can do. You can be like, I read it somewhere. You just can't disclose any information about the library, really. At least,
I like the
surface.
Lydia excuse.
Oh yeah, the Lydia excuse works. It works. And other than that, the contract, it really doesn't say much other than, you have access to it and you can use it. And it's basically, a decent sanctum, decent library. And that all are welcome here and that there is no violence. If there is any violence that becomes distraught, the library will immediately take security protocols and basically boot whoever causes the violence out.
I mean, Dahlia is entirely okay with that because, violence is one of her PTSD triggers, so...
You also notice that the woman, Marilyn, is staring at you very intently, and if you look at her with life, you can tell that her heartbeat has increased slightly. Like she is not stressed, but it's kind of like excitement, and so to speak, that she's looking at you with.
Are you quite alright, dear? Your heart's racing.
Oh, I'm fine. I just, do you know what I am?
I am assuming that looking at her under the particular sights that she has up would, reveal that, yeah, this is not entirely human.
Yes, very bright, vibrant colors.
It's okay. Come here. Come here. Oh. Indeed, I do.
She says, do you know then of what tribe I am?
That I don't know.
I am what is known as a child of Gaia.
Ah, then I suppose being in my presence must be either exhilarating or terrifying, maybe both.
I would say both at the same time. But I have a duty, and I am not going to forgive me. Please forgive me, but I'm not going to prostrate myself. Um, but I will give.
Please don't.
But I will give a high dose of acknowledgement. You are certainly always welcome to ask me of any favors you require here, and outside of my duties at the library, I would be more than happy to aid you in other matters if you need it.
She nods.
You have a friend in this one. And you notice that it seems like she's trying like really hard to like keep her excitement kind of shoved down. That much is easy enough to see. And she says, "So, now that you've seen the terms of agreement, are you willing to become a member of this library?"
Yes, I believe so.
All right, then. She has you reach out her hand, and she says, "We can do this one of two ways. Uh, the Order of Hermes installed one way, and the Virtual Adepts installed another. I assume you wish to do the more Order of Hermes way, per se?"
Let's do that, yes.
She nods. And she has you sign. And when you take the fountain pen and you sign it in very classical, however you choose to sign it, you feel a minor pain on your hand. You see no cuts, no life. As you're looking down at your life energy, there is no life energy that is taken from you whatsoever. But you still feel just a little bit of ow, like as you wrote your name. And the name, as you write it on the paper, it almost seems to solidify into the paper itself.
Interesting.
She smiles a bit and says, "Congratulations, Dahlia Lily. Welcome. Let me know if you require any services of the library. We have many options and benefits to choose from."
She would nod and then head off to explore the books.
You head off to explore the books, and it is fascinating. It seems like whenever you think about something you want to look for, it appears. The shelves and hallways of books merge and shift and change, and if you've seen the movie Harry Potter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The hallways will turn, they'll rotate, things will shift down and up, and you're never lost because you're always where you want to be. And you also notice that as you came into this library from the outside, it was clearly a one-story library. Here, there are maybe about a good 900 floors.
Yay for correspondence fuckery.
Oh, yes. And you continue to look around, and it's fascinating. And in terms of terminology, this is technically a Node 5, Sanctum 5, Library 5, with a few other things that I'm looking up at the moment. And it also counts for other splats as well coming in here. All difficulty for any magic including hedge or high, or rituals, or gifts is at lowest difficulty.
It's funny, she has, her own 3-dot library, so...
Yep. And the only problem that happens with this library occasionally is that it's big. And even when you know right where you want to, say you wanted something on birds, or I'm sorry, specifically bluebirds, it gives you like a good 12,000 books to choose from. So if you were specifically trying to find like something detailed, it can be a bit harder to, and you kind of have to make some rolls to find it. But other than that, if you wanted to find something like real personal specific, you would probably use your library. If it's something out of that expertise, you would go here, because it seems that here has everything, at least in some way. It's just hard to sort through everything. If you use the mind sphere and even, well, sphere of entropy and time, once you start getting everything combined into that little triad, you can do what the virtual adepts call the decode, or what other mages would call whatever, and start to go through information a lot more clearly. That really seems to be the only downside to when you're looking through all these, is that it is kind of hard to find very, very specific things, because once you look up a subject or think of a subject, you've got a lot to look through. And of course, there is payment for the library that will consist, but it's nothing to mages. When you enter and exit the library, your first visit is pretty much free, but when you exit and enter the library from here on in, it's a whole whopping 1 task.
Consider that her quint refills every night.
Yep.
And she has 7.
And there will also be some requirements that the library stated out. There may be some favors here or there requested, but it's nothing, it's never anything seemingly serious. It's not like anything you guys wouldn't have done anyway. But, as you look around, is there anything in particular that Dahlia is looking for?
Not tonight, it's more of a just exploring.
Yep. As you browse, you can hear a little bit of commotion. And you hear Marilyn kind of speak, and it seems to just speak directly into your mind, although your mind is not being invaded whatsoever. And you hear the little intercom turn on, and it says, "Oh, Dahlia, I almost forgot to tell you. There is a small coffee shop and refreshment area. Simply think about it, and the library should be able to lead you there."
You know what? She'll go ahead and think about it and head to the coffee shop.
As you do so, the hallways shift, bend, and turn, and stretch.
Because a good tea is always nice.
Mm-hmm. And as you slowly start to focus and focus and focus, you realize that you're going down and then up, and then direction just seems to be gone on this place. And then you eventually come to the coffee shop. And you see a wide selection. It's actually a lot bigger than a side coffee or tea section of a place would be. There's, whenever you think about tea or coffee or refreshment, like everything just starts to appear, and it's there's a long hallway off to the left, and then there's a sitting area off to the right. It's very luxurious, very spacious. And you notice someone sitting at one of the tables. And you see this man sitting down. He seems to be enjoying maybe a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. And he looks up and he says, "Oh my, hello."
Hello.
And he says, "First day in the library?"
Indeed it is. Dahlia Lowry.
Matthias Leorn. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And you.
And he is, when you look at his aura, he is rainbow.
Hmm.
3.
You're one of the fair folk.
He blinks a moment, looks at you after he shakes your hand, and he says, kind of shakes his head a little bit. He says, "I'm still getting used to people seeing me like that. I hope I haven't frightened."
Well, technically, I don't see you in any way. It's more of a feeling. You know, with the being blind and all.
My brother always used to say the blind see the world more clearly.
So, are you just here having a drink, or do you actually work here?
Occasionally I work here. This is not my shop per se, but it is a part, and I do some part-time work here, so to speak. What would you like? Whatever it is, we have it.
Actually, just a glass of hot water. I have my own teas that I make.
As you seem to think about that, a table around you, like kind of near you, kind of spins a little bit, and there is a glass of water with even the specified temperature that you wanted, even specified glass or desired look.
That shouldn't specify any kind of particular glass, just one that has a handle so she doesn't have to touch the cup itself.
It would appear as like a standard kind of glass mug, so to speak. Then
And she would dig in the canvas bag that she tends to carry with her and pull out a thing of loose leaf tea.
kind of looks he looks a bit intrigued at that actually, and he says, "Do you mind if I join you?"
No, of course not.
I'll sit down across the way.
The smell of the tea is quite clear. It is lavender chamomile
Ooh,
with just a touch of peppermint and spearmint.
huh. Funny thing, his two favorites are lavender and jade. He sits down, and you notice that if you look at him, let's see, you've got mind. Yeah, his life aura looks like you see the rainbow vibrancy of his aura, and when you look at him with a little bit of life, he looks just a little bit different. Um, Mainly in the pulsating vibrance of life that flows throughout all beings that share life. His pulse doesn't pulse outward to the outer parts of the body like most life auras do. It pulses inward.
Hmm.
He sits down and so joins you for a little cup of tea. Says, "This is very good."
I keep a rather extensive garden.
Smiles, seems to be very happy, and he says, "Well then." He starts to go into just about kind of like what the library is and whatnot, and then he says, "Well, owning a coffee shop certainly isn't a glamorous, magical, effect to. But I must ask, what do you do? What is your primary, shall we say, interest in profession?"
Well, in truth, I sell teas and herbs,
He
as well as crystals, things like that.
kind of perks up a little bit, and he says, "Well, now you have my interest." And he sits down, and you proceed to talk with him a little bit more, and we will take a
Yep.
small intermission as I will go to Wong and Jared's character along with Clea. But for now, I must step away for just a moment, so we'll take a minor intermission.
Fuck, bye.
Well, dog spilled something, so I gotta grab it. So I'll take care of that really quick here.
No, dear. Puppers be making messes.
Yeah, his dogs
That's what
always
puppers do.
Yep, that's basically, pupper job is to spill things.
No. It's a cat's job to push things off the table.
Okay, it's okay, buddy.
Weirdly enough, the little cat doesn't do that. The big cat does that, but does that in the usual passive aggressive manner to cut your attention because I need to be fed now or I need attention now and you're gonna give me
Exactly.
attention.
It's like stares at you as they push it off
Yes.
the table.
Oh my god. We had this huge jar that we had like candies in there that Brady's sister gave us, and it was on this furniture, and he goes there, like looks Brady dead in the eye, pushes it off, broke into 1,000 fucking pieces. And of course, I went to gather the pieces and I lower myself down so my knee goes right into the fucking glass and I stabbed myself with the glass in the knee. Yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, I still have the scar. My knees are very scarred. But to be honest, I didn't feel it right away. So I'm like, oh, something happened. And then I look down, ooh, blood. Ooh, no good.
It's like, oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
not good.
Usually that's where I realize that I done goofed. I see the blood, I'm like, oops.
I have Yoo-hoo. It makes me happy.
What's a yoo-hoo?
It's a chocolate thing.
Oh, is that the drinky drink? The
Yeah.
chocolate drinky drink.
Mhm.
Bleh. I don't like it.
Well, I used to drink them all the time when I was a kid. And, it's just kind of a nostalgic thing.
No, I get it. Just there are better drinksies. At least.
Oh, there are much better drinks.
Yeah.
But
Fucking Nesquik.
nostalgia.
Yeah, like in Greece we have Milko, which is awesome. It's crap quality wise, I think, for chocolate milk. I wouldn't trust it, but it's so fucking yummy. Like I love it. I'm a milk person.
Oh, same.
I'm
Like,
lactose
Yeah.
intolerant.
oh, I feel so bad for you.
Yeah,
not
I would
that
die. I literally think I would die.
Yeah, I love milk.
Oh no, all it is I get a bit gassy, so I warn people.
It's like, nope, not giving up my milk. Fuck you. You can deal with the gas.
Yeah, like when I had bowel problems, my sister told me to stop drinking milk, and I was like, "Fuck that! If it goes from that, I'm gonna live with it." But I tried cutting on milk for 3 months or so, and I was using like rice milk.
Mm-hmm.
No difference. It was psychological reasons. So I'm like, "Fuck that shit! Back to milk."
Yeah.
Although I like rice milk.
I haven't tried rice milk. I've tried almond milk, soy milk.
I don't like almond or soy milk.
I like almond milk,
is-
but I like almond milk if there is a particular brand that makes a dark
Yes.
chocolate almond milk.
You mean the thing that
Yes,
just tastes like chocolate and nothing else?
It tastes like dark chocolate. Thank you.
I wasn't buying
It's still
chocolate,
chocolate, is it
almond
not?
milk, just plain, but it was just one particular brand that I could stomach because it was tasting
Well, I had
good.
to buy
The others
almond
were-
milk for my daughter because she is lactose intolerant
Mm.
and has been since she was.
Rice milk is the
Little.
best though.
So
It's
she needed
yummers.
formula.
Oh, we had to put her on a
Lactose
Non-
free
non-lactose, non-soy milk because she's
Ooh.
also allergic to the protein in soy.
That sucks.
It was fucking expensive. These small cans of that formula were $25.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
God damn.
Welcome to America, the capitalist society that's currently failing.
Alrighty.
I mean, we're not the only one that's failing, but we are probably failing the worst.
Alrighty.
Anywho,
We return from our intermission, and our scene now takes us to the Order of Hermes' primary pocket realm of magic testing, so to speak, where a Mr.
Made in
Wong,
our house.
is practicing some techniques. What is Mr. Wong trying to do?
He's trying to cast a fireball, basically.
Okay, that'll be
Fucking wizard.
forces 2.
Yeah. The professor taught him how to sorta do it with the lighter he gave him. We can kind of like shoot out a tiny flame now from the lighter,
Mhm.
but still it's terrible. So he wants to make it, tries to make it better. Without
He's
blowing
Pyro
himself
from
up.
X-Men.
Yeah.
All right, roll me
Basically.
roll me a arete.
Oh, why is Discord lagging? Oh, great. Oh, nice.
You didn't fail?
Nope. I was actually kind of hoping it would fail,
Why?
because it's hilarious.
You're silly.
Well, think about it. It blows up in his face. He's got
Yeah.
soot all over his face.
No,
and a
no.
deer
See,
sticking up
you
his
really don't want that because I'll tell you about Cassidy later.
Okay. I think I got 3 successes.
You got 2.
Well, he's in the sanctum.
It's
Where-
difficult.
where the-
It's difficulty 3,
Oh, then
where
yeah.
there's a node, so yeah.
and even without it, he got 3 hits. So, Jesse, you are successfully able to kind of improve your little fireball. Do you wish to try and like make a foci, or I'm sorry, not make a foci, make a rote?
I think
Oh, that's
I
right.
already made
That's
it.
right. You made the roll for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You did.
Um,
So you kind of improve on it a little bit. You get it to kind of look like, it's coincidental. Like you kind of just wave the
Yeah.
lighter in and it looks like, oh, someone got caught fire. And there are ways to improve it, but for right now, that's probably something you want in the last ditch effort.
hmm I would like to try to find Xavier's assistant and ask her about something.
As you get ready to leave, you see this woman appear within the pocket realm.
Hmm.
Hello. Mr. Wong, I presume?
Hi, I don't think we've met before.
Oh, I'm Hannah Dundee. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, hi. I'm, Mr. Wong, I suppose.
Yes, I just recently spoke with Xavier, and I have someone here who she needs to, shall we say, she thinks for a moment and she says, learn to be someone other than herself right now.
What?
And she looks at you and gives you a little wink, and she's like, that's code for she needs to socialize.
Oh. I think I understand. I think.
She chuckles a bit.
Where is she then?
Behind her, through the pocket dimension, a little door opens up. And this woman steps in. Jared?
Hi.
What am I doing here?
She pauses for a moment, just kind of, she then puts her hands on her hips and then turns to you. And she says, what do you think we are doing here? We are getting you somewhat socialized and learning to work well with others. She smiles.
What I should be doing is getting ready for my next photo shoot.
You will find that there are far more pleasures in life than simply your photo shoots.
Like magic.
Oh, I can already see she's going to love this little sect. Claps her hands together and she says, so, you know the rules that the Order of Hermes has produced. You read all of their regulations. Kara, can I trust you to be behaved?
I suppose.
Thank you, dear. And she gives you a big hug and then says, enjoy. And she leaves the little pocket dimension.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So, hi, I'm Wong, Jess Wong. He puts his hand for shaking.
You see Kara just take a look at the hand, look you in the face, looks back at the hand,
Right.
and just goes, sorry, I don't shake.
Okay then. What do you do?
Rolling her eyes, probably.
Well, rolling her eyes to think at the moment. But, what I want to do is. I'm gonna probe his thoughts.
Okay.
So, what do I need to roll for the rote of probe thoughts?
A read.
Yep, you roll whatever your irritate is.
In this
You're
pocket
diff
dimension,
3.
in this pocket dimension, it's diff 3. Mr. Wong, roll a Mr. Wong, do you have a mind defense up?
Nope, because I am in the
It
sanctum.
doesn't matter, anyways. I fail.
That's because you
You
rolled
got
a diff
one.
7. It's only diff 3.
Oh,
You got one success, but
it's
doesn't a one
canceled it out.
remove? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it would be
still
0
fail.
successes.
So,
But with magic, you can keep casting if you choose.
That's fair.
so you reach out and you try once, and Jesse's not weak-minded, so it's kind of you try the first time, and it's just kind of like you approach the wall with a toothpick. Maybe next time you should come better equipped. Try again.
Are you okay? You're making this weird face ish.
Well, she does look
That time you
a
can
little
get it.
weird entirely. She wears steampunk outfits on a regular basis, so currently she's in a gothic Lolita type dress.
Ah. What do I
But-
roll against it?
Wong, you can feel your mind starting to get probed, and you know what this is because you went through a whole session with the professor with this.
Yeah.
Do you resist or do you just let her do it?
I mean, I try to resist because I'm thinking about Tremere at the moment. What do I roll against it?
Well, you don't have your mind defense up, so roll me your willpower
Yeah.
at Let's see, you got 3 successes, didn't he? So roll me willpower at diff 8.
Oh shit. Okay.
Not enough. Believe it or not.
I got 1. Damn it.
So he probes your mind. What are your
I was thinking about the Tremere and the house that we were supposed to check out, and how Clea keeps telling him and the professor about the vampires that got turned to ash and some weird earth shit happening, and
Okay.
apparently a Tremere going out of the house that we were supposed to go into.
Okay, so Jared, Cara, you pretty much see all of those thoughts like kind of happen in like your mind's eye. I don't know how you've set up your mental paradigm or whatnot, but you see all of these things that he's been thinking about and been doing, and they all just kind of swarm you a little bit at once, and it's like, whoa, busy.
What are you doing? That's not polite. You know, I could have just asked.
Well, let's just say I'm not in the habit of asking.
That's like super rapey, if you don't mind saying that. Like,
Well, I do have
super
the
weird.
merit of sanctity, so it's like everything's a little bit dumbed down. It's like, oh, it's a little alright.
Yeah.
This man comes walking in and he says, "That was very rude. You should also probably be careful about that, considering as how things can know when they're being probed. Probably a lot better to do it more subtly next time. Plus, it really is nice to ask, especially when your fellow mage is in by."
Maybe next time I should just mind shield myself every day, every
He
moment.
turns to Wong. He's like, "Indeed, having a mind shield up at all times is a good thing. It aids very highly in protection."
This is
Especially
some
from
stuff.
someone of the mind sphere.
But Wong is now going to activate his mind shield because he doesn't want that shit to happen again.
Roll
or at
everything.
least
Roll everything.
reverse.
Div 3.
I want to do that too.
Oh, nice. Got 3 successes.
Basically, what that does is add 3 to your willpower.
Yep.
Damn.
And it will occasionally make the difficulties for resisting a little bit easier as well.
Well, it makes their difficulty
Hi.
to penetrate
Yeah.
your mind higher.
So he's
Penetrate.
Harry kind of looks. You've seen Harry around Wong. He's occasionally helped you and the doctor out, but he looks at you again and then he says, "Kara, try it again now."
Wait, what?
Except this time it's not diff 3. It's diff 6. Even here in the realm.
2.
Okay, Wong.
That is just enough to kick off the effect.
Yep, it's enough to do the effect. Now, Wong, roll me a willpower roll, difficulty 5.
Easily blows me off.
That's a lot of ones.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think he still beats it though. 1, 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
barely. So, with this mind defense now, Jesse, you both kind of do your thing where like the minds come together and whatever your appropriate mental paradigms look like, I'll let you guys know that because you guys fluff it out. And
Uh-huh.
she tries to once again invade your mind, but you're ready this time, and you throw up your defense, whatever it is, and your paradigm. And Kara, you try to go in, and he shoves you right out.
Access denied.
You know, there's other ways to be social other than mind stuff.
Nonetheless, Wong, this is good practice. It's also
Plus,
one of
I
the
like
most.
to tease.
It's also one of the most important things. By the way, my name's Harry Blackthorn, Miss Kara. I'm here as a kind of a liaison to all of the younger mages. Clea, it's at this point you can arrive. You're easily able to find the room because whenever you walk down the hallway of the Order Hermes, if you state who you are looking for, it will direct you right to the door.
Yeah, but I want to do that mind thing too, because I will be meeting Jane after, so.
Okay, go ahead and roll every take.
Please don't fuck me. At what difficulty?
You're in the sanctum, so it's diff 3.
Please don't fuck me. You fucked me.
No hits. So, you try to
I
concentrate.
can't do it again.
You can do it again, it just increases the difficulty by 1.
Diff 4.
Fuck my life today.
Good thing about shielding yourself, though, you only need 1 success to kick off the effect.
2.
So yeah, you try again, and you're able to steel yourself.
I also have Iron Will, but I don't remember what that adds. I need to go and check.
That adds 3 dice to your willpower saves.
Technically, you had 3, so because it should only be diff 4.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, difficulty 4.
Oh
If it was div
yeah,
3,
yeah,
up to div
yeah,
4.
yeah.
3
I
hits.
fucked my types.
Technically, you have 3 successes, so you can either add 3 to your willpower for an hour, or you can add 1 to your willpower for a further amount of time. Each additional success adds either an hour or +1.
I prefer to extend it with time.
Right? So I'll say, well, you got 3 hits. And I'll say the Sanctum grants a little bit of a bonus, so let's go ahead and say for the next 4 hours your willpower would be increased by 1, and it would be more difficult to invade your mind. So you folks...
Yeah, that's separately from the extra dice I get from the Iron Will, right?
Yes.
Okay, there. So I'll go to find Jesse. I mean, number 4.
Yep, you are led to the door, and you open up the door, and you see, of course, Kara, Harry, and your friend Jesse.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Maybe put a mind shield up just in case.
Hello, Miss Clea.
Is there's Kara?
Hi. I have we met?
No, I'm new here.
No, she's asking the other guy.
Oh, I've seen you around. I'm one of the liaisons for the newer mages here in the Order from East area.
Okay.
You also notice that he's now eating a burger.
Who are you?
Harry Blackthorn.
Look, that may sound a bit weird, but I have a problem remembering names, so would it be okay if I assigned you a
Number 12, he says before you even finish.
Okay. She writes in her journal, and then she will look at the other chick. Oh, hi, I'm Clea. And she'll wave.
Kara.
Do you have a number?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you want one?
I'd really rather not. I like my name.
Harry looks to Kara and he's like, she apparently doesn't associate people with names. She associates them with numbers.
Well, I will eventually learn your name, but until that happens, I need to be able to remember who you are.
Give her number 9 since she's odd. And he kind of teases Kara a little bit and he smiles.
Well, I do have the eccentric appearance flaw.
Or maybe since you're the Cult of Ecstasy, maybe you should give her the number 69.
I'm not going so high numbers.
I
don't
wanted
know so
that
many
number.
people. Yeah, Jesse, you probably don't even know what that is. No,
Wait, how do you... you remember my name now.
I have the journal open.
Oh, right.
Well, I'll leave you 3 alone since I see that at least most of you are well behaved at this moment. Remember,
Yes.
all of you, if you feel your mind getting encroached and it is an unfamiliar feeling, always resist. 2, if you can, always have a mind shield up. And 3, associate with each other so you know what your presences feel like. So you can know when to let someone in and when to not let someone in. But be warned, appearances and feelings can be manipulated. Important lessons. He walks out the door.
Mr. Blackthorn, before you go, can I ask you a real quick question?
Of course, Mr. Wong. What is it?
What do you know about the Tremere?
The Tremere. Well.
What the hell, dude? We're supposed to be meeting the other chick.
What? We gotta ask someone from House Hermes, cause they're House Hermes. Well, was House Hermes.
He looks at you very blankly for a moment and he says, "Well, I can tell you a little bit about that. Unfortunately, my knowledge of super arcane lore of the past is a bit muddled. You can always check out the library if you wish to become members of it and take a quick little peek, but I'm afraid our archives don't have much info on that specific incident because it's looked at a little bit. Looks like he's trying to
Oh.
find a word, but he's like, yeah.
Yeah,
understand.
Consider
Sure.
that they almost completely wiped out the Tremere and probably could have if they had not called for peace,
It tends
which
to,
they are currently at the moment.
it tends to be a little yeah. So we don't keep a lot of records of that around except for the higher ups, just because, well, we mages, we like to keep our secrets. The vampires, they also like to keep their secrets. So this library has stuff for
Because
orders.
there have been 2 full-on wars between the Order of Hermes and the Tremere.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, if you go
I
to
understand.
the public library, on the other hand, and become members, you might be able to find something there. But I'll say this: there is a truce right now between the Tremere and the Hermes, and it's shaky. And when I say shaky, Mr. Wong, I mean shaky.
Okay,
I
sir.
guess you guys are still salty after all these centuries, huh?
Well, to be fair, we are the slightly less salty ones, so to speak.
Bullshit.
He chuckles a bit and he says, he looks up at the sky. He's like, "Yes, we are." Starts to argue with the narrator. All right, so he says, "Well, it's nasty. Me personally, I have nothing. As a whole, best not to shake the boat, so to speak."
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Of course. Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Alrighty. Let me know again, Mr. Wong, if you need help with the forces of fire. I will greatly aid you in that matter.
Thank you, sir. I'll definitely ask.
Of course.
Yes.
Like I said, stop by the library if you have any other questions about it. And he walks out.
Leah shakes her head. Why do you have to be so savvy?
What?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You gotta be polite. That's like, didn't they teach you that at your
Anyway.
house?
I need to call number 10.
He's an Elite 6 mage. He's going to blow me up. No.
Clea's gonna take out her card and call Jaina on the phone.
Okay. And I turn my attention to the other ST. Is her call being monitored in any way?
Oh, hell yes it is. Because Brandon keeps track of all of his school's devices.
Is it just Brandon?
Yes.
Okay. Then we are okay. Give me a moment here. It rings a few times, and Jaina will actually be near Brandon not too long after this due to the incidents that occurred. Jaina will be pretty close to Brandon, and she hears the phone ringing, looks over at Brandon, and then answers it. Yes?
Hi, number 10. Clea here. You said you'd meet at that coffee place thing.
Yes, you want to do that now?
Yeah, but can I bring my friends?
She looks over at Brandon and then she says, "What kind of friends?"
Like me, kinda?
Okay, and she says,
No.
"Like you is okay. I think.
Okay.
And she's just kind of looking at Brandon for an acknowledgement, like, I get it.
He just nods.
Yeah. Okay, I'll meet you there.
I'll take them to the library after.
If you like, we can meet at the library. That would be a bit easier and safer, actually, come to think of it.
Okay.
Not to mention I work there, so no problems will be answered.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Very well.
I'll come now.
She looks over at Brandon and she says, "Duty calls. Shall I go take this?"
He just nods and sends her off with a little pat on the head.
All right, she'll go to the library.
Like a fucking puppy.
As she kind of scowls at him.
I mean, at least he's nice to his ghouls. Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she scowls at him, but she does like it, so she leaves.
Okay, I'll take my bike. You can take your car. You can take 9, and
Uh-huh.
you can try and follow me, not get lost. We'll go to the library. You can sign up. I can get you an ID there. They have this thing. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
No,
So-
come on.
Ma'am, please don't mind rape the denizens of the library, please.
Wait, who's mind raping here?
You see, the only person he's talking to is this you, Lady Kara.
No, not cool. Not cool. Come on. We'll have to go.
Kara, do you go with them?
No, she would be wanting to head over to her father's bar to
Mhm.
do her singing.
So after you do the practices that Hannah wanted you to,
Mhm.
you can go back to your father's bar. And
We can drop you off.
sure, yeah. They give you a ride.
Uh,
You get there really quickly. You also notice that,
If you came with me, my bike's faster.
Kara, you also notice that whoever you go with, you now know that the Order of Hermes place, so to speak, since you're still getting used to magic and whatnot. Do you
Yeah.
have correspondence?
I do not.
Right. So it's a bit confusing to you, some of the ways this sanctum works, but I mean, it is magic and you've witnessed it, so nothing too scary. But
I
distance
Do have Mind 4 though.
distance seems to be an illusion. Well, you can't have Mind 4 if you've got Arete 3.
Well then, fuck.
Your
That
spheres
not
cannot
stated to
exceed
me
your
ever.
Arete level.
That's on Brandon. He's supposed to be approving.
Well,
Yeah,
he
he's supposed to be looking at
well,
your
well,
character
that's the thing
sheet,
is he was approved, and then he spent extra XP that he hadn't spent, or he hadn't told me he spent.
Yeah. But I was not told that it's limited by Arete.
Yeah, I did say that. I was talking to you
Yeah,
about that
spheres are
from when we
limited by your
started.
Arete level. That's
Okay,
why, Dahlia only has 3 in anything so far.
Alrighty.
Because she could have gone to 5 in several things at this point.
You are about to learn the greatest aspect of mage. One must level Arete to level spheres to beyond the point. But yeah, you can put that into any other
Just fucking
sphere.
expensive.
But
Then I would just be transferring over to life.
okay, so you're putting your second dot or first dot into life?
Second dot.
Second dot into life. Mind 3 with life 2 is still pretty damn good. All right. So you got that done. You go to your father's bar. We'll get to that in a bit. And then you guys are proceeding to the library to meet Jaina.
Mhm.
So at this time, you arrive. Cleo, you've been here before. Jesse, this is the first time. It's in Places of Interest. It's the Concept Library. And it's very dark, kind of creepy out here. And you can see at the front door, there's a camera looking at the two of you. It looks at Clea and only looks at her for maybe about a second, and then it turns to you, Jesse, and stays on you. And then
I'm gonna wave at the camera.
if you wave at the camera, it like kind of moves with you when your body kind of moves.
It no mind. It doesn't know you. You have to sign up.
Is this like some magic camera?
After a while, the camera stops looking at you.
Clea will open the door.
Okay.
You open the
Jesse
door
will follow.
and you go to the main waiting area, and you see Jaina standing out front.
Oh, hey.
Right, come with me. And she starts to walk down the same hallway that you did when you first arrived. Jesse,
Okay.
you see off to the right in the hallway, lights come on, almost trying to guide you to that direction.
Ooh. Have you ever read Harry Potter?
Who are you asking?
Both of them.
Jaina says, well, yeah.
This is like Harry Potter.
She stops.
I would refrain from calling the Order of Hermes Harry Potter. They get rather persnippety about it.
She stops, like dead, like almost like she just ran smack first into a wall. Stops, turns, looks at
Did I
you,
say
looks at you,
something
Jesse,
bad?
and she says, "Did an Order of Hermes mage just ask me if this is like Harry Potter?"
Yes, maybe. Maybe.
If
You're hopeless.
if Jaina looks like she could have a stroke, she'd be having a stroke.
I don't get it, but yeah, the kid, yeah, he's pretty hopeless. Just send him to number
What?
7 to get signed up.
That's
That's like asking. That's like
Hey.
asking the Terminator if he knows anything about guns.
Well, does he?
Yes.
Well, he
She
doesn't know anything about guns.
she squints her eyes and rubs
cars.
the bridge of her nose, and she says, "Ah, come on."
sorry, I'm like really new about everything.
She says, "No, it's fine. It's just that that caught me off guard." So you walk into the
Is this
main you walk into the main library room, and hold on a moment. Once again, for those of you who have been to the library and for those of you who are just coming into it, you see this woman standing at the front desk.
Clea will wave.
Hello, Clea. And this is Mr. Wong?
Hi. Why does everyone seem to know who I am?
Well, to be fair, your name was dropped as possible members, so.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Dong.
She says, hey, Marilyn, can you go ahead and get Mr. Jesse a membership so we can use one of the private sealed rooms, please? Of course, Jaina. And she looks over at Jesse and she says, right this way, please. And of course, you were here earlier, so I won't go through the whole contract thing
Yeah.
again. You got it all, and you read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you sign it?
Yep.
Do you also ask, do you ask for an ID?
Yes.
Okay, spend 1 quintessence, please.
Mhm.
And roll me a Arete roll difficulty 3.
Oh, he can do it too? You have matter.
Wait. I only have matter 1.
That's
I don't think I
Yeah,
can.
No,
yeah,
that's-
I have yeah, that's
to
enough.
to
I have
to,
matter
to
1 too.
use the machine. All you need to do is roll an Arete.
Oh.
So
Nice.
is that 3 hits?
Yep.
Okay.
Choose a name.
So she leads you over to this machine, and it almost looks kind of like a 3D printer, but it's so much more than that. You basically enter all the information that you want in the ID. You spend your quintessence, put it in. And because an ID is fairly easy in terms of simplicity of a object, you only needed 1 quintessence. And
Nice.
it makes you an ID, and it is perfectly valid.
Nice. Thank you.
No worries. I just have to always make sure that I'm watching so you don't break the machine. It happened once, and it took. Let's just say it took a while to fix. She smiles a bit, and then she kind of looks over to another part of the library, like she's trying to look for someone, but then she turns back pretty quickly and says, "Jaina, one of the rooms is open for you if you wish to use it."
If I look in that direction with sights, will I see anything?
That depends. Are you specifically looking for anything?
I don't know. She looked in that direction, so maybe there's something there.
Okay. Well, you look in that direction a bit. And
Do I need to roll something?
No. Dahlia.
I'm here.
The books and the shelving starts to shift around where you and Matthias are just kind of chilling, and it opens up and it makes a long stretch, and you look and you can see the center of the library, the main room where you entered, and you can see Marilyn. You can see another woman that you have not met yet, and then you can see Clea, Jesse, and yeah. And they both see you, and you guys see Dahlia.
Oh, it's the blind chick.
Don't call her that. That's rude.
I don't remember her name.
Dahlia. We should go say hi, because we also need her help with something, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Can you get her to give me... What just happened?
Wait, what?
I don't
Did
know.
it just
I-
refresh?
I think it just
Thing?
refreshed. For some reason, the
What the
chat
fuck?
refreshed.
Okay, that was interesting.
You fools! You've created paradox.
Wait, which chat refreshed?
Google Hangouts just apparently refreshed.
Google Hangouts just refreshed and it, fucked
Okay.
with everybody briefly.
Alrighty then. Matthias
Okay.
Matthias just looks up, sees the newcomers, and then looks back at Dahlia, looks at the newcomers. He's like, "Oh, this is the most we've had in here for a while."
Oh boy. Okay.
Jess is going to drag Clea to where Dahlia is at and going to say hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Jesse. Hello, Clea.
Hi.
Hi. What's your favorite number?
So Clea can't remember names, so she associates people with numbers. So
She's gonna kind of pinch the bridge of her nose. Great. Okay.
Matthias does the exact same thing.
Do you have a 5 yet?
No, 5 is available.
Okay, just go with that then.
Damn it!
Okay.
Can I be number 6 then?
what about you, Mister?
She will crook her head and is like, "Who are you?"
Matthias Leon. Who do you think I am? No, I am Thor, God of Thunder. And he looks at you like he's about to swing a hammer, and then he looks at his hand. And he's like, "But I forgot my hammer."
Toss a
can
piece
call
of
it back to
cookie
you if you
across
want.
at him.
Ow!
You're confusing me.
His name is Matthias Leorn. Leorn.
Leorn.
Oh,
I'll
Yeah.
just start Matthias. This is too long. Okay. So you
Um,
want to be number 6. You'll be number 6. Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
this is Clea, and I'm Jess Wong. Meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Wong. Clea.
Hi.
I'm assuming
yeah.
since you're here, you know a little bit about, us mages.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the few of my particular traits that knows a decent amount and proceeds to associate. Occasionally, it can be bad when.
She points out, Jesse, that one's a baby hermetic.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna wave at him.
No worries.
And that one is Society of Ether.
Ah, the Etherites, yes.
And I am Verbena.
I'll have to tell him. He looks at you and he says, "That's why you felt probably the most familiar out of all of them."
Probably.
I should probably tell Knight
We
this.
do tend to associate with the fair folk more often than others.
He nods. And he
I
says,
don't understand what you're talking about.
that can be good and bad.
Fair folk. He's. Never mind.
Well, I don't know. I've only seen like vampires, but I need to talk to the and she looks in the journal, Jaina there. So you, Jesse, you tell them.
Jaina is
Thanks.
literally standing up against the wall with Marilyn kind of consoling her, and Jaina is now banging her head against the wall.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
yeah.
you shouldn't do that, dear. Oh, never mind.
Well, I think Jesse can tell you about the things. I can talk to Jaina about the things. I need to clear some things up.
Matthias kind of looks at you and he says, "But if you talk about things, then the other things will get jealous that you're talking about the things and not the other things."
I'll talk about the other things later. And so turn around and goes to Jaina.
Hi.
By the way, this is actually not targeting you. Clea,
Yeah.
you're holding a banana.
What?
I'm gonna peel the banana and eat it.
What?
I love fairy art.
He looks at her and he's like, "I can't believe she just ate though."
Why was there a banana in her hand? What the fuck?
And Matthias kind of clears his throat a bit,
That seems good.
and then he says,
Welcome to the world of the Fae, Jesse.
What the fuck is a fae?
You've never heard of fairies?
Like Tinkerbell.
"That story, that story,
That's-
that
I
story."
think that more covers the Piskies, but yes, basically.
And he points at Dahlia.
Pisky.
He points at Dahlia, and then he points at the other few, and he says, "That story, let us be clear, was highly, highly exaggerated and underrated. Those little, what's the human?
She's just going to, pat him on the hand.
It's like those little, what's the human word for it?
Pixies.
Pixies.
Shits. I was gonna say shits."
Just as well.
Takes a deep breath. He says, "They can be useful
But no, in Changeling they're called Piskies.
when they're
That's
not
interesting.
constantly stealing glamour from you," he says, and he says in a brief tone of like But as you touch him, he calms down.
Clea and I are here to, well, we're supposed to talk to the lady over there, but since you're here, might as well tell you what we found about the thing. Do you think it's a good idea to talk about the thing Mr. Xavier told us about in here, or
There are secure rooms that you may talk about it, and there will be no one who will find out about that. Believe me.
Okay. Should we go?
This is probably one of the only places that you could talk about anything and not have to worry about it falling on deaf ears, even for those who leave the library.
So basically, from Clea's very scatterbrained thoughts, she found vampires, and she found the house because of this weird
Vampires.
guy in a casino that's apparently really handsome, and like told her about the house and to bring guns and to bring a lot of people. And like apparently a Tremere came out of the house where we were supposed to go to, and like the Tremere got ashed by this weird dude and like who called her a bitch. Apparently, or was it a cunt? Can't remember. And then there's like weird earth magic going on, and some guy was invisible, and apparently they're all vampires. And then there's this weird dude apparently who like have uh what's the word? Wait, what is traditions? Thank you. The two traditions who saved her from the person who called her a cunt, apparently. And so like now she's talking to the person who called her a cunt. Ghoul. I don't know what a ghoul is, but yeah, apparently.
Matthias is just like
Sounds
He's-
like a little kid is trying to explain what he
yeah,
saw.
Matthias.
Luckily for
Oh,
you,
believe me.
Dahlia,
He did a
knows
better job
about
than Clea.
vampires and shit. So
Matthias
That's like
just looks at Jesse for a bit, and then he says, "Are you sure you're not a changeling?"
I don't think so. I don't know. But it's a lot worse than how Clea told it. It was like super scatterbrained and
Right.
that's
You
like
you said
better.
something about a house. I know
Yes,
what you're talking about. We've been having some
You do?
problems with that place, yes.
Is it a vampire then? Like I thought
I
it would
signed up
probably.
to help with that. If you'd like to help us as well, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Oh, I've been investigating it for the past few weeks here. I'm glad to help out with any information I can provide. I can tell you right now, it is no vampire den. He kind of
Oh,
thinks
good.
he kind of thinks for a moment. He's like, I think the kindred would actually find that insulting if you called it a den. But no, it's not a den. It's I
Is
believe.
it a lair?
Well, you're not there. He thinks for a moment. He says, "It's I think it steps into another plane, so to speak. At least that's what you call it. That's
Oh.
what you call it. Planes. Planes. Is that
Oh,
the word you
It's
use?
a Horizon realm.
Yeah.
Oh, now I remember what the sexy card guy was called. Terran Delmont, apparently.
Matthias looks and he says, "Oh, you dealt with that one, did you?"
Not me. Clea did.
Oh boy. Tell me, does he still wear that unbelievably awesome but at the same time ridiculous tie?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Clea was the one who talked to him. Apparently. Apparently, he showed her a very cool card trick that she wasn't impressed by, but sort of was impressed, but not really.
How did I know he was going to do a card trick? And he literally just holds up a thing of cards. And he says, "Check this
Oh,
out."
dear.
He says, "Check this out, Wong." And then he holds out a bunch of cards and he says, "Pick a card."
He picks the farthest left one.
It's the 3 of clubs. And
Uh-huh.
he says, "Ace of hearts."
Are aces supposed to have gloves on them?
He says, "Oh, pick another one."
He picks the middle.
You know, you're not very good at this.
Get this. You pick the middle one and it's 3 of clubs. And he's like, "Ace of hearts."
What the?
He holds up the whole deck. It's all 3 of clubs.
What the? Well, that was pretty. That was terrible magic, if I do say so myself.
I fooled you. Wait, hold on a moment. And then he, without even asking you, he reaches into your coat pocket and he pulls out an Ace of hearts.
He's gonna applaud. Wow, that was cool. So, about the house.
Yes, of course. If you like, we can all go. If Miss Jaina, I don't think she will, although occasionally I piss her off a lot. But I think we're all in accord that we could discuss this. Even Marilyn could join us if she wishes to go off duty for a moment.
Am I off with Jaina now, or am I still there? I'm probably off with Jaina.
Oh yeah, you
Are they
guys.
going to join us?
Yeah, they join you fairly quickly.
Okay, let's have a little one-on-one before they join, so I can Say
Sure
what
thing.
doctor said.
So as you stand off to the side as they're coming down the other way, Jaina is there.
So yeah, the doctor dude, he asked about the house thing, and he was afraid that maybe we would be stepping on other people's toes or something, or this your territory or your investigation or something. But we were taught to investigate, and are we in trouble?
As far as I know, your little group is the only ones seriously investigating this particular aspect of what we're dealing with. There's multiple things going on that multiple people are investigating, multiple layers and all this other bullshit. But right now, we're having you specifically investigate the house, and no, you're not stepping on anyone else's toes, so to speak. If the other kindred or other beings wish to investigate the house, that is their business. But no, as far as I know of, no one else has really taken an interest in this specific fact of what is going on. However, everyone is taking an interest in the serial killings. That much I can tell you. And it will only get worse from here. But for you, 4 or 5, you're not stepping on anyone else's toes. This has been going for a bit yet. It's just a lot more complex than we originally thought. Which is why we're having multiple people investigate multiple different areas of this problem. A big problem we're having
Okay.
right now is the house due to the spiritual disturbance it is causing.
Okay, and how about the dude that came from the house? Are there more people in the house coming out?
We do not know why it was the Tremere or why someone of that specific sect walked in there. And we do not know what else is in the house. No one has been in it yet. We had one of our contacts who was going to investigate it, but he has yet to do so. For good reason, because it is not a safe place.
I know the dude from the casino that went there.
He did, but he did not go in the house.
Oh. Oh.
When you step
Okay.
into the house, you
Yeah,
are
he
not.
said something about the
Yes.
inside of the house, but I don't remember exactly what.
As far as I know, it's another realm, so to speak.
No. Okay. Okay.
Marilyn, my
Okay,
dear.
cool.
Marilyn, she looks over across the edge and she says, Marilyn, my dear, it might be time that you punch out for lunch and you, me, and the others all have this discussion because this will be important. Marilyn looks from her and looks back, looks at Matthias and Dolly and the others coming down. She says, all right. She hits the little red button right next to her computer and as she walks away, there's another being that appears in her place. And it is. Find the picture here. A familiar face to Clea. Oh, I believe you, this is your lunch, Marilyn? Yes, Iroh, thank you very much. Anytime. You almost got me when I was on the toilet. That would have been embarrassing. Pauses for a moment, and then he just goes and he says, Oh, Marilyn, I see that you have not yet played today's Sudoku. Can I go ahead and take your spot here? And she says, Yes, Iroh, I don't gamble with that anymore. And he says, Excellent. And he sits down and starts playing Sudoku.
Oh, it's the double dude.
Yeah, the man who was the groundskeeper who came by after you watched the guy blow up.
Yeah. It's
So,
number 2.
so
So she'll make waves at Jessie and show number 2 with her fingers and like with her eyes show the old dude.
Jesse and Dahlia, you see an older gentleman standing at the area where Marilyn was. And, of course, I've got his picture up.
Jesse's gonna whisper to the two, Matthias and Not Clea, Dahlia. Clea saying that's the person who saved her. He
Dahlia
gestured
is
at,
going to give a little bow because he is a rather high-ranked verbena.
Yep. He is also dual tradition. And he sees that you bow, and he stands up formally and bows very formally to you. And he says, "Oh, Dahlia, I did not know you were here. I would have worn a better shirt and presented myself better if I had known you were here."
Oh, hush you. You know I can't see your shirt anyway.
Lies. I know you have the matter sphere. You do not lie to me, Dahlia. He chuckles a bit.
Ah, fine, yes. But it doesn't mean I can actually see. It just means I see vague outlines.
You would judge the patterns, and it would show me disgrace. And he's just feigning like being an asshole right now. It's like, it cannot. He's like, it cannot be. No, I am ruined.
You're so silly.
I must get back to Sudoku. Can I do anything for you, Dahlia, before I get back to this intriguing game?
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry my accent went a little bit Italian there. He goes back and he just starts.
He is dual tradition, right?
Yeah, not dual.
An Italian verbena. Let's see. All right. So, going to the arcane room. So you are led into the room with Jaina, Jesse, Clea, Dahlia, and Marilyn, and of course Matthias. And you all sit down. And when you enter this room, this is a very different kind of room compared to the other room. In the other room, all magic was diff 3. In this room, any abilities, any magic difficulties, any rituals or disciplines or rites are diff 10 base.
Ooh.
Almost nothing is allowed in here. However, for those of you who have the ability to see Prime and know a bit about the sphere itself, there is a
Which
project.
means Dahlia's sight's probably shut down.
Your sights become muffled, but not shut down. At least all of your sights but Prime. Prime doesn't seem to be affected quite as much. But the only
She kind of reaches out and grabs Matthias's jacket because this has seriously impaired her ability to see.
Mhm. He stands and he steadies himself and very gently kind of guides you over to one of the chairs. And he keeps holding on to you until you're comfortable. But what you do see, Dahlia, is you see the projector, and Clea sees this too. The projector has a pretty decent amount of Prime coming out of it. And if you look at it with the other spheres, although muffled and somewhat blurred, this projector is a talisman. And it is a talisman of forces, mind, Prime, matter, and a little tiny bit of entropy. And the projector is glowing pretty brightly with primal energy, or energy, and it kind of almost illuminates the room depending upon how your vision is and what your paradigm is as you see things. But you're all led, and you all sit down at the table. And in terms of game effects, this room has Arcane 5 constantly on, and it also has shielded with 12 successes. So no one is going to be listening in on whatever you guys say in here. After a moment, your guys kind of all sit and kind of look at each other. No one really speaks at the moment. But then Jaina kind of takes charge and she says, "All right. Most of us here have dealt with some of the issues approaching Orlando. One, in turn, is is this odd house, so to speak. And this house has quite a history behind it. And it's something that will need to be taken care of due to the fact that it is throwing off a lot of spiritual disturbances. And she looks over at Marilyn. She says, the lupines, and she points to herself. The kindred vampires, even the mages, are suffering some difficulties from this maelstrom, so to speak. And it's causing problems. We also feel that this house may be an entry point or exit point for this supposed killer that has been running around executing many of our kind indiscriminately. And this is a problem that cannot go on. This might even be related to the problem happening out in the ocean, which I know nothing about. But
What's happening in the ocean?
she looks over at Matthias. He kind of
We will look to Jesse. Like, it could be the Cthulhu thing.
The professor said Cthulhu isn't real unless we believe it to be.
Yeah, but you believe it?
No, I don't.
Then why did you ask?
Because he said he wanted to know.
Yeah?
You're the
All-
one who believes it, then.
all eyes in the room are looking at you two. Except for Dahlia's, of course.
What if you thought about it and now it's there?
We're sorry. Continue.
You know, she does have a point, though. I mean, if you don't believe in Cthulhu, how do you know his name?
Please don't. Scary enough.
He chuckles a bit and he says, it takes a lot more than one person to shift paradigm.
But it's two of us.
Takes a lot more than two. It takes many, and there are many who still believe in that one. But no, he kind of squints for a moment. He says, the Silkies may know something, but I don't know anything at the moment. And I don't console with much of my kind anymore, so... unfortunately, Jaina, I have no information for you. Then Jaina looks over to Marilyn. Marilyn shakes her head. Doesn't know anything more.
Could this be another Avatar storm?
Iroh did say that was a possibility. But we don't
We
know.
did just have one last year, after all.
And we thought most of it was... and apparently Iroh tells me most of it was fixed, although... if it is, then I don't know much about what goes on there, but it could be. It's certainly showing the
Because
signs.
what did just happen in the week, right after the Week of Nightmares in 1999?
Yep. And this is, ironically, some remnants of that. Iroh said that there was a possibility that this could be remnants of what happened. But we're not entirely sure yet. Like I said, I'm not exactly high on the knowledge scale here.
What's an Avatar storm?
Jaina looks to Dahlia. She says, that's beyond my expertise. Dahlia?
It's a massive amount of spirit energy that messes with the Umbra. I believe the Aetherites called it dimensional anomaly.
Oh, gotcha.
It's drawn to paradox, and it causes the gauntlet between our world and the Umbra to thicken or thin oddly.
We did notice that this maelstrom happening out in the middle of the ocean did coincide with the recent killings. It didn't start getting intense or really noticeable even until the killings started about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Very well could be another Avatar storm.
So is it like the Stephen King book, The Mist? Where there's like ghosts in never.
Oh, no. Wait,
You have to
the mist
compare
wasn't
everything.
ghosts. The mist was creepy fucking bug things.
Was it?
Ghosts was the fog,
Oh crap.
and it was not by Stephen King.
I'm thinking of a different book.
The mist,
God damn
the,
it.
the mist, the fog.
Do you have to compare everything to books and things?
I was thinking more of the Bermuda Triangle, but
In a way, yes, it could be considered similar to the fog. Except it more so just causes odd surges of spirit energy.
She says, then we're all in accord that this needs to be at least dealt with mostly accordingly. And she continues to sit down and tell you the events that you guys all know, and she starts to tell you more. And Matthias gives you guys a little bit of extra information, and that he thinks it might be related to. He thinks, at least from his guess, he doesn't know, but from what the other mages have told him, he thinks a mage has gotten really good with spirit and has made himself a sort of sanctum / haunt inside this Horizon realm. And the only way to maybe destroy this might be to actually have to enter the house. Because so far, all attempts, even from Elite 8 mages, keep this in mind, from the outside, attempts by Elite 8 mages have failed. However,
So
on the
nobody
inside,
has been inside.
however, if we investigate the inside of this realm, it might be quite a bit easier. According to Iroh and a few others who have come up with some interesting theories and have done some research on this, it might be a lot easier to actually break this thing from the inside. It won't be a walk in the park per se, but it's definitely doable. From the outside, it doesn't look like anyone is going to touch this.
Yeah, the casino dude told me that outside he was outside, but we need to go in, and we have to go many people, and we have to have.
Could we gain access if we stepped sideways into the Umbra?
We have, from what the mages have told me and from what Terran told me, he's observed it in the Umbra, and indeed, stepping sideways would grant easier access. But either way, the realm is going to need to be entered and destroyed from the inside. However, stepping sideways would definitely aid in certain matters.
So how do we go inside?
Well, you can do it two ways. You can step sideways and enter the premises, or you can walk through the door.
Uh,
That simple, just walking through the front door.
Oh, it's never that simple. But with the right
what's
aid,
the
we could do it.
sideway thing?
What's the what?
The sideway thing.
Stepping sideways? You've never stepped sideways?
I'm not sure.
If she's not adept in spirit magic, she likely can't.
Ah, yes.
Is this like the underworld?
No, the Umbra is another plane of existence that parallels our own. The Shadowlands would be more what you're thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so we can go through the doors. Why don't we go through the doors then?
Then I guess we discover a plan and discover who is going to go and what we're going to do when we get there. She eventually starts giving us some info about it and whatnot, and we will get to that next time. But she will tell you a bit about the information about how they think they can destroy it. From what they know, there might be something that is known in the Wraith terminology as a heart. And if you guys can get into the realm and destroy the heart or base of it, so to speak, the realm would shatter and we would be brought back into the mortal plane. And she discusses some other things with you guys, and as you guys are discussing into the night, we'll have the session kind of fade to black there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Good night.